Yo, what's going on, guys? CultofMush back at it with the top 5 best PC hardware deals of the week. Now, I have to preface this, and I'll probably say this for the next few editions of this series, is that with Black Friday so close, even though some of these deals are really great, if you can hold out until the end of November, chances are you're gonna be getting somewhat better deals, maybe even much better deals. So unless you're very eager to pick something up, if you can wait that extra month, I really do think you're gonna reap a lot of benefits. But nonetheless, a lot of you guys always seem to enjoy these videos, so I am going to do it anyway. But just keep in mind, as you guys know, Black Friday is right around the corner, and the best deals will come then, and I'll definitely do a video on Black Friday. So with that being said, let's get right into this with number 5. Number 5 is the Acer Black 23.8-inch monitor. This is a 1080p monitor with a 4 millisecond response time. And it comes to the market at $110, which is a very good deal for a monitor like this. Is a high quality monitor. And I think this kind of a monitor is the perfect monitor for high quality PC gaming at 1080p. Obviously, the 1440p monitors are going to look better, but you're going to need a lot more horsepower to run games at that resolution. I still think 1080p is very much the sweet spot, and 23 inches is what everybody seems to like with 1080p. I don't really abide by that notion. I think you can have a 27-inch monitor and have it be 1080p, but I know most of you guys do like 23 inches and 1080p. As far as connections go on this monitor, you've got one DVI port, one VGA port, and one HDMI port. The monitor's also got built-in speakers, which I know the built-in speakers are usually trash, but it's always something I like to have just in case my speakers crap out. It's always nice to have that as a fallback if nothing else. For $110, this is a very good 1080p monitor. Moving on, we've got a pre-built computer. I mentioned one last week, so I think whenever I see a decent deal on a pre-built computer, I'll just throw a mention to it. Obviously, as I've always stated, I think it's better to build your PC, but I know some of you guys would like just to buy a pre-built. So there's a pre-built computer on Newegg from ABS. It's going for around $1,350. This is $200 off its typical price. And the specs are very, very high. You've got an Intel Core i7-6700 at 3.4 GHz, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, a 1TB hard drive, a 120 GB SSD, a GeForce GTX 1080. So some very nice hardware specifications in this PC. Obviously, with it being a pre-built computer as well, you get a free copy of Windows 10 on it, which is valued at like $85, so that's a very nice incentive. Now, I always want to mention whenever I talk about a pre-built computer is that when you're buying one, a lot of these manufacturers throw in a crappy power supply, so you have to know that going in. That's one of the ways that they'll quietly keep the price down because a lot of the casuals don't really know about the importance of a power supply. This one in particular has got a 500-watt power supply, which is kind of on the lower end, especially for a 1080, but it should still get the job done. And yeah, for $1,350, this is a decent option. It's not too much higher than market price. But again, I'm always going to say I would recommend building your own PC instead because it is something good to know if you're getting into PC gaming. I also want to mention there's another pre-built computer available at Micro Center, but it's only available for in-store pickup. I think this is a very good option. It's the PowerSpec G313. It's $1,000 flat, and the specs on this are an Intel Core i5-6600K, very nice CPU, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, a 480 GB solid state drive, and a GTX 1070, so some very nice parts in this. And this is a cheaper option if you do have a Micro Center available near your location. There's a lot of them around. I'll put the links to both pre-built computers in the description box, so check them both out if you're interested. Moving on to the final 3 GPUs, which I know would be the parts that you guys are the most interested in. Number 3 is the PowerColor Red Dragon Radeon RX 460. This is $100 on Newegg, and there's a $15 off mail-in rebate, knocking it down to $85. Now, being an $85 GPU, the RX 460 isn't anything amazing, but GPUs like this still do a relatively decent job even on higher-end games. Sure, it's not going to let you max out the highest-end games and get really high frame rates, but if you're paying $85, you're probably not expecting that. For a lot of games, we're talking medium to high settings, 35 to 40 frames per second, which is still very much playable. It's very comparable to a console, and a lot of the times it is a step above what you would get on a console, so $85 for a GPU, it's not a bad deal. And if you're just playing games like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, and you want to dabble in some higher-end games, then something like the RX 460 is perfectly suitable. Moving on to number 2, which is another GPU from PowerColor, and this is an insane deal. The PowerColor Red Devil Radeon RX 480, this is the 8GB model. is available for $240, but there's a $15 mail-in rebate, and there's a $25 off promo code when you use MasterPass. I'll put the code in the description. So if you take advantage of everything, you end up getting this GPU for $200 flat. That is an insane deal for an 8GB RX 480, considering when these GPUs released, the 4GB RX 480 was well above $200, and now we've seen those prices come down, which is great. Now, I don't really think the 8GB model is super essential, but the fact that it is only $200 for this price, you really can't go wrong. And I'm sure you guys have checked out a lot of the performance benchmarks on the 480. It's a very fast GPU. It's primarily suited for 1080p gaming, but if you do want to do some 1440p gaming, that is also possible with the RX 480. You just got to keep your expectations in line, considering it is a $200 video card. But yeah, this is a fantastic deal. It's so great that we're out of the days of the RX 480 being well above MSRP, and now it's actually far lower than what the original MSRP was. The 4GB 480 was supposed to be $200, while the 8GB was supposed to be $250. Now, obviously, we're doing a bit better than that. Finally, number one is the GIGABYTE GeForce GTX 1060. This is the 6GB model. It's going for $260, but there's a $20 off mail-in rebate, and the same promo code that's usable with the RX 480 is usable with the 1060. So you take advantage of everything, and you get it for $215, which is a fantastic deal for the 1060, just like the 480. 6GB 1060s were going for as high as $300 just a few months ago around the time of this GPU's release. And now we're at a pretty good spot with this video card, and it's an excellent pickup to the point where you can fit it into a lot of different budgets. If you're building, say, a $600 PC, it's probably to the point where you can fit a 1060 in there. And the 6GB model is a decent bit ahead of the 3GB model, so picking up that version is a very nice incentive. And for $215, the 1060 is great. I just wonder, if this GPU is $215 now, what is it going to be on Black Friday? Is it going to be sub $200? Because that would be absolutely insane for a 1060. And that's very much a possibility. That's why I say if you can wait, I would probably wait just another month to see what Black Friday offers, because some of the Newegg deals every year are insanity. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Some great deals this week, especially on those GPUs. I would highly recommend you guys to check those out. But again, Black Friday is upon us, so I'll leave that decision up to you guys. If you have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.